Hello and welcome to Straight to Coding. Today we are going to discuss and implement ChatGTP, specifically the test completion endpoint. ChatGTP is obviously an open source chatbot framework built on top of OpenAI's GTP3 model language model. Okay, and it allows developers to easily create chatbots that can understand and respond to natural language. So today we have here a console application. Okay, and it allows us to interact with ChatGTP by allowing the user to send a question or a query, and then we will send that question or query straight to ChatGTP, get a response back, and then display that response. So let's quickly run this application and see how it works. We will come back and discuss um, the solution. So here, this is a prompt, and it allows the user to type whatever they want. So here, I'm typing what is a planet. Okay, that's a question. I'm sending this question will be sent to ChatGTP to get a response back, and then we will display the response here. So this is a response coming back from ChatGTP, and it says a planet is a large non-luminous celestial body, blah blah blah. So that's the response. I can also send another one, which is, let's say, what is the diameter of the Earth? That's another question. Send this quick question to ChatGTP, and it will respond with a query, an answer. So diameter of the Earth is roughly this. Okay, so that is basically what we have here. Let's run through the code and see how it works. This is a basic console application, as I said earlier. So we have our main method here, and basically we just have an infinite while loop here. Okay, and we allow the user to input some text, and then we grab the text, and once we have the text we just pass it to this method, which is execute prompt. So this is the user's prompt, and we are going to send this to ChatGTP over the HTTP. Okay, now I've created here completion request data model, and in there we have these properties. Now this model here represents the ChatGTP model. Okay, now the possible values for this model are these ones. Okay, and I chose the text DaVinci 003 because that's the latest one. There are other possible values here, as you can see. Okay, and then the prompt is the user query or the question, and then we have maximum token. So this token consumption drives the cost. Okay, and also determines the size of the response that you get back from ChatGTP. Okay, so here we have our HTTP client that we created, and this is the endpoint that we are going to send the query to as a and we use post as a method. And then we have our own API key. If you don't have API key, you can sign up and get your own API key on the OpenAI slash API endpoint page. So go there and grab your own API key. And this is my API key. Obviously, it will be deleted, so don't use this one. You create an authorization header as you pass the API key as a bearer. Okay, and then you serialize this completion request here. We have here this data model. You serialize it into a string, and then you create a string content. You make sure that the media type is application JSON. Once you have it as a string content, you then send your request. You will get a completion response back. If everything is successful, you read that content as a string, and then you deserialize that string into a completion response. Let's have a look at the completion response that we created. Here we expect a couple of properties, including the ID. We have something called choices. Choices are literally where your text response are stored. Okay, and we have here usage. This usage is just explains how the token was used. So if you open up here quickly, you see the number of token that was used for the prompt and the completion text and the total. Okay, but your actual text response is in the choices. Okay, now let's go back to the program file. So now if you deserialize that string into a completion response object, you now have choices. Now if you look through these choices, you'll be able to grab the text of each choice and then append it to your own string builder here, and then you add it as a response test and you send it to the prompt. So this is where you get a response back and then you display it. It's very simple. So let's run it again. We put a breakpoint here and run it and then go through it one by one. Okay, so let me put it here. No, not here. Let's put it here, somewhere here. Okay, run it, and now it's asking for a prompt. So I would say yeah, let's write the same questions again. What is a planet? Okay, now let's step through this one by one. So this is the question that we ask, what is a planet? And now let's see. Oh no, let's try again. It's got a response back already, but let's try again. Let's ask the same question, what is a planet? And step through it again. This time step into the method and see how we serialize this completion request. So this is your completion request. We create HTTP client and we create our HTTP request message here. We have our API key. We create a header, authorization header. We serialize that completion object into a string. So this is what we have, a string, and then we're going to send this to ChatGPT endpoint here. Okay, so we wait for the response back. Now we have the response. We check if it is successful. In this case it is. We read it as a string. We get a string results back. Let's quickly have a look before we deserialize it. Okay, so this is what you get back, and these are your choices. Okay, and this is literally the response, the actual response that we need, and this is the usage prompts. Okay, it tells you how many tokens was used for the prompt, how many tokens was used for the completion, and the remaining, or the total of it combined. Okay, so here yeah, we deserialize a string into a completion response. So we have it here, the same thing that we looked at, and for each choice. Okay, so we go through the choices one by one and then we append each text of the choice into the string builder, and then eventually we will get a response set here. Okay, and then we return the response test and then we display it as a response from ChatGPT. Okay, so that's how it works, and I can obviously ask another question, what is the diameter of Venus in this case. Let's just quickly run it, and then it gives us the diameter, average diameter of Venus. It's very simple, guys. So yeah, try it and you will enjoy it, and let me know your response in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thank you.